Hey everyone, welcome back to podcast number 4 of our mastermind sessions, where my brother, Ali Jamal, CEO of Stable Gold Hospitality, shares his tips on how you, as a new or seasoned investor, can get the financial freedom you deserve. Welcome back, Ali. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Great to be here for another podcast and looking forward to it.
On this podcast, I wanted to talk to you about not just the mechanics of investing, but about the connections you make through networking in order to become an all star investor. We'll be talking about who you build connections with, how you do this with such a busy schedule, and the tools you use. Stay tuned, everyone. First, I want to understand, even just as a business owner, why has networking always been so important to you?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. One thing I realized really early on in my business career was that at the end of the day, people do business with people that they know and that they like and that they trust. If you're looking to grow any type of business that you're in, whether it's in real estate or not, the biggest tool and the biggest thing that's going to make you successful is the personal relationships that you build within your professional network, because they can just make things happen for you so much faster than anything you could do on your own.
How much networking experience have you had personally?
One of my first jobs in the professional world was actually the business development manager for a local chamber of commerce from a city that I lived in back in Canada. My involvement in networking was very early on. I was about 21, 22 at the time when I was in that job. And so since that time, I've kind of taken the value of networking with me. So just through that job, number one, I've probably been to hundreds of networking events. And then when I moved to Atlanta to expand our real estate portfolio and business, I started to look for meetups and other kind of local associations affiliated with real estate investing. And so, probably over the last couple of years, I've been to a few dozen networking events. And I think, at each event, I've at least made one stellar contact that's been able to kind of help my business grow. Maybe not in the short term, but, where you plant a seed, a lot of times you can reap benefits. That's how I look at networking. Build a relationship with a seed, and then hopefully one day it'll pay off with some sort of opportunity or some sort of an investment that can take your business to the next level.
What if you don't have a job that specifically requires you to network? How do you make that work? How do you make connections then?
Yeah, so I think there's a myriad of ways to build these relationships. So I think networking events is definitely a good start. And I would say, to narrow down from a networking perspective, what are you trying to accomplish? So before you even decide on what networking event you're going to go to, ask yourself a question. Who are you looking to meet? How is that individual going to help you? And how are you going to accomplish your goal by utilizing the relationships that you build at this networking event? One of the first things I would do is, if I was a real estate investor looking to build my personal network, I'd ask myself once again, why am I going to an event? And let's say, as a real estate investor, it was really important for me to access financing because you need money to buy real estate, obviously. Well, in that case, then you've narrowed down kind of who you want to connect with. So you know that you want to either connect with a banker, or you want to connect with other professionals who would be interested in investing in projects that you're interested in, private lenders. So you make a small list of who would be your ideal target when you go to one of these events. And then once you go to the event that makes the most sense, you kind of know who you're looking to meet, and you can kind of spend your time at the event connecting with people that make the most sense to help grow your business. Going back to kind of the planning side of things, what's really important as well is the type of event that you go to. So let's take the example once again of being a real estate investor. You probably want to go to events that are focused around real estate, or focused around economic development. And chambers of commerce are a good place to start. I would Google real estate clubs of your local city. So if you live in Atlanta, type in Atlanta real estate investor networking events. And from there, you're going to get a whole bunch of Google hits of upcoming events in your local area with other real estate investors that are in attendance. And most likely, you're going to hit your target market at those type of events.
What about mortgage brokers? What's the difference between approaching a lender and approaching a mortgage broker for capital?
A mortgage broker has a different job. So a mortgage broker is not affiliated with one bank. They're independent and they're going to shop the market for you. So they're going to go through their network of 40 or 50 banks, maybe more, maybe a few hundred, and find out the best deal for you based on the information that you've provided them. That's really the difference. If you have a really great relationship with your bank, let's say you and the banker at Wells Fargo have been known each other for a long time and you have a good relationship, then you can go directly there and they'll, hopefully set you up with a mortgage on the property that you want to buy. But if you don't have that strong relationship, or if you're maxed out at a certain bank in terms of mortgages, then you're going to utilize a mortgage broker and they're going to shop the market for you. Not only are they going to shop the market with the bigger financial institutions like Wells Fargo or Bank of America, or if you're in Canada, Royal Bank of Canada or TD or any of those kind of larger institutions, but they're also going to connect with private lenders who will charge you a little bit more interest, but are a little bit more flexible in terms of their terms.
What other types of finance professionals is it important for any business owner to connect with?
Yeah, so accountants are going to be one of the most important team members, extended team members that you can have as a real estate investor. The accountant is going to help you navigate a lot of the laws to do with real estate investing and make sure that you're aligned with what the government allows, but also help you maximize deductions, help you maximize the various rules and regulations that there are out there to actually help real estate investment and spur real estate investment across the city. So, your relationship with your accountant is very important. You want to find someone who's really experienced on the real estate investing side of things. Real estate investing is a art in itself in many ways, and so accountants are going to have the understanding of the various nuances that investors have to go through to ensure that they're abiding by the law, but also getting all the deductions that are possible. As a very quick specific example, I met with an accountant who gave us some really great ideas regarding cost segregation. That's where you accelerate the depreciation on your various assets. And we were able to do that on some of our hotels. And we got a great tax savings by utilizing that strategy. There's some advice that you can get from accountants as well as lawyers that will save you time and a lot of money as well.
What are some other industry professionals that you have targeted in your networking strategy over the years?
As a real estate investor, you'd be probably targeting a real estate lawyer, a closing attorney. You also have higher level attorneys that can help you if your business is at this point, can help you go public, can help you create a REIT if that was something you were looking to do, help you connect with other potential investors. There's some law firms in some cities that are very well connected with the local entrepreneurs in that community. So it's always worthwhile to connect with some of the larger law firms, because those are the firms that kind of have a pulse of what's going on in that local city.
How about architects? Can they add any value to your search for real estate deals?
Absolutely. Well, I think architects are really going to come into play in two key areas. Coming from the vantage point of an investor, one thing that an architect can help you with is, let's say you find a property that is a value add opportunity. It's a building that you're getting at a very good price, and with a couple key adjustments to the building or additions to the building, you can triple the value of it per se, or even more. In those instances, it's very valuable to get an architect out to the property to get an idea of what the area is zoned for, so what additional things can you put onto the property, and B, if you can get an additional component added on to that piece of real estate, how much of it can you add on, and how is that going to impact the revenue of that real estate? Just a very specific example, let's say you find a hotel that has a lot of empty space in the parking lot. Well, if the architect can help you find out if it's zoned to also have an event hall, now you have the ability to not only have a hotel running on that piece of property and generating revenue from the rooms from the hotel, but you can also have the ability to construct a small event hall or banquet facility and start generating income from that. So, of course, the architect's going to help you find out if the area is zoned for that type of real estate asset or that type of extra revenue generator on your property. And also, once you do hopefully get the approval through the help of the architect with the city, the second component is the architect can help you design the space in a very cost-effective way to ensure that you can maximize that piece of property and make sure that you can generate revenue on it.
And how about property managers?
Property managers are excellent people to build relationships with, and it's a great target for when you're going to networking events. Primarily because a property manager is going to do the things that you don't want to do as a real estate investor, right? So, our goal as a real estate investor is to work on the business, not in the business. That's kind of my motto. And for you to work on your business, you're going to need to find qualified people to work in your business. And that's when a qualified, successful, competent property manager is going to come into play. So property manager number one has to align with your business strategies, meaning that the property manager you choose has to be good at managing the type of properties you own. So if you have a D-class property, you got to find property managers that actually manage D-class assets. If you have A-class assets, same sort of thing. You want to find property managers that specialize in that category of real estate. Once you build those relationships, and once you build a business relationship with the property manager and bring them onto your team to manage some of your portfolio or all of your portfolio, you'll see a big turnaround in your business because you'll be able to focus on the bigger items versus the mundane day-to-day kind of operational issues.
How can you connect with all-star real estate agents that can help you find really good deals?
First thing is that the real estate industry, from an agent's perspective, there's a lot of agents out there, right? So you need to do some research and really try to find out who's going to be the right agent for your specific type of real estate niche. So let's just take the example of, I'm looking to invest in D-class motels across the US. Well, really, I don't think you need to research networking events in the local area and then go to a networking event looking for an agent who specializes in that, because I think there's a lot more of an efficient way from a networking perspective to connect with those individuals. My suggestion would be find the type of properties first that are kind of in this niche, right? So you go onto Google, you search for motels across the US that are kind of in that price range that would probably get these properties to be in that D-class segment. And what you'll find is a listing agent on a couple of the properties. You call the listing agent, you have a conversation with them on the phone, ask them the questions that you want to ask regarding that specific piece of real estate, but then extend that conversation and find out from the real estate agent if they have any other listings in this type of asset, and see if they'd be able to kind of give you some more insight on other investments or other hotels or motels in that segment that they are currently listing and that they'd be able to give you access to. If they don't currently have one, they either have had one in the past or they're going to have more in the future. So, once you've built that relationship over the phone, at that point, it's just about a matter of follow-up. Get them onto your newsletter, or if you don't have a newsletter, make sure that you make a calendar reminder to shoot them an email every couple months just saying hi, or send them a personalized card with your business card, so you're top of mind next time they're listing a great deal that makes sense with your investment approach.
Who else in your network would be of value to you in your real estate investment activities?
Realistically, depending on your goals, believe it or not, anyone. Let's say your goal is to grow your real estate investment portfolio and you want to raise financing from individual investors for large projects. Let's say you want to raise $500,000 to buy a multifamily apartment complex, or use that 500,000 as a down payment to buy a multifamily apartment complex. Well, really, in that case, anyone in your family or in your friend circle or your peer group at work or school, if that's where, if you're still in, taking courses or whatever it might be, any of those individuals are great to have a part of your network, because everyone either knows someone or can help you invest directly into your project. Depending on your goals, anyone is a good part of that network. From a professional standpoint, in terms of service providers, there are a slew of consultants that you can access online now through programs like Fiverr, where if you need to market a product, if you need assistance from let's say, an executive assistant standpoint, you can find all of these services online at a very affordable rate. And a lot of this stuff can be done over the phone or through email. Your business can be supported with a network of individuals you meet online, or in person.
As a millennial, how has networking advanced with various tools that we have for reaching out and finding these industry professionals?
I think, with the advent of social media and how much it's exploded over the last, couple decades, it just made the world a lot smaller. The need to physically go to networking events is not as significant as it used to be. You can easily, decide never to go to another networking event, and every day just shoot out 10 or 15 messages on LinkedIn to individuals that you think, based on their profile, would be valuable to your business. And out of 10 messages, you might get, two or three coffee meetings. You can just shoot out a quick direct message, let the other person on the other end know, the value that you could potentially bring to them and how you see them bringing value to you, and just have a coffee or a lunch from there. And I mean, that in itself has totally changed the game for networking.
I've seen how many hours a day you spend in front of your laptop, and it's spectacular to see how you've leveraged that time to make so many online connections, as I can see on your LinkedIn. Anyway, our time is up, and so I wanted to thank you for sharing another great round of advice on how to become a mastermind at the art of real estate investing.
Thank you. It was great to be a part of the podcast once again. Very excited with some of the great content we're able to throw on here, and hopefully it's going to help out some of our listeners.